Alzheimer's disease is a huge and growing problem. There are approximately 5.5 million patients today, and there will be 20 million by 2050. This represents a huge burden for the patients, their caregivers and families, and society overall. Unfortunately, we don't have good diagnostics or treatments for Alzheimer's disease. These are urgently needed.
So Jeff just gave you a bunch of great stats about Alzheimer's, 5.5 million Americans, hundreds of billions a year in annual treatment costs. However, that's not the number that drove us to do this idea and to be in this class. The number that drove us and drove me personally is the number one. So one grandmother, who was my primary caretaker from the age of 3, taught me math problems, taught me how to cook, eventually taught me how to play baseball. Eventually as I grew older, she started to develop a dementia. It started off innocently enough where she would forget my name at times. It intensified to the point where eventually she couldn't take care of herself. One night I remember we were in the house and she just walked out of the house into the dark night, and she had no idea where she was going, who we were, and anything. And it was the most helpless feeling I've ever experienced in my life. And so our crusade in this course was to be able to solve not the 5.5 million Americans, but the one grandmother, the one mother, the one father, the uncles, the aunts that affect us all individually.
It's not personal, Sonny. It's strictly business.
Since it is a business and not just our personal crusade, what we really learned in our journey is that in order for us to solve our one biggest area of interest, which is helping our family members never have to experience Alzheimer's or making it better if they do, that the first thing we actually had to do was first figure out how to solve everyone else's problems. Internally, that means we first had to find a way to get funding for our scientists to do the initial work. And what that meant is finding out from grant organizations like NIH and other government organizations, what are their biggest areas of interest? What are they looking to find? And specifically within Alzheimer's, given all the failures, what can we deliver to them that would actually strike their interest? Then it meant going out to investors. Finding life science investors at an early stage is an incredible challenge. The timelines are always too long, the capital needs are always too high, but how do we find a technology and a solution that can actually not just solve Alzheimer's, but also meet the interests of equity investors? That's just the internal piece. Then we have to get outside the building and go look at pharma companies. Pharma companies have been trying to solve Alzheimer's for a number of years. They have not been successful. So to go and we had to find out, what did they try? Why didn't it work? What were their major pain points inside that? And then most importantly, what could we deliver to them in terms of a treatment and diagnostic that would actually allow them to, 1, better serve their patient population, and 2, to actually make a profit. After that, we had to get outside and go talk to insurance companies. So the last Alzheimer's diagnostic was not approved for reimbursement. So the question was why? And what could we deliver that was different and unique enough that would actually allow, 1, reimbursement, but 2, also to justify the case for insurance companies to reimburse this and pay money up front in order to save money in the long term. So in summary, what we really learned in this course is that the only way we'll ever get what we want is by giving everyone else what they want.